Oh, hey. Didn't see you there. Did you know that Eutyrannus was a dinosaur that lived in Asia? Anyways, did you know that I like making costumes? If you didn't, well now you do. Hello. And today, and in many days in the past, I will be working on a Eutyrannus costume. I have 11 weeks to do this before Furlandia 2025 in Portland, and this might kill me. I decided to create a new character for this project, so concept art was the first step. I looked at a lot of birds, but eventually decided to take inspiration from the harpy eagle from this design. To dive literally headfirst into this project, I began by creating what is called a bucket head base. There's several ways to do this, although I used Blender to get the pattern for mine. To do this,
Blender help is not covered by Shrew version 1.8, try updating.
I carve out the upper and lower jaws, eyebrows, and cheeks following the orthographic reference I made. I also workshop eye shapes and test fit them into the head. Throughout all of this, I scan the head and try and keep things as symmetrical as possible. To get all the fur patterns for this project, I will be covering each piece in duct tape in order to get a cast of the surface. The tail is no different. I got this inflatable tail core online from Manta Crafts. The duct tape creates a pattern that gets transferred, cut out, and sewn together. Eventually this will get sewn to the bodysuit. I wanted the paws to be more slim-fitting than my standard toonie paws, as I thought this would make them look more dinosaurian. I modeled them in Blender by... After this, I threw them into Plushify to UV unwrap them and get a printable pattern. Then trace this pattern, shave down the pile on the fur of the fingers, cut and sew. Sew a lot too, since I have 20 plus darts and 10 fingers to sew. And of course, my little bird Captain wants to help. He loves to just be involved in any of my sewing, chewing on my clips and trying to get into my string. He also likes to try and get into my sewing machine while I'm actively sewing. While I was sewing the paws, I set up my embroidery machine to quickly sew the claws. Something bias binding, something ladder stitch claws on, bam, paws. To get the foam leg padding, you first gotta open up Blender and basically duct tape dummy, get your friends, embarrass yourself in front of your father. Hi. This is the first step to making the bodysuit. It's how the suit actually fits the body that's made for. Once I escaped, I got to trace, cut out, and sew. The bodysuit can be intimidating just because of how big it is and how unruly it can be to work with. I machine sew most of the bodysuit, but for the dots on the chest and the legs, I want the extra control that hand sewing gives me. I added the Eutyrannus crest to the head and smoothed out the sculpt, then duct taped the whole head and neck to get the pattern. Then tape the inside of the head to get the lining pattern, put that on the inside. I divide the eye template into its pieces, the pupil and the sclera, then cut out of mesh and foam respectively. Then to close all the gaps up on the head, I ladder stitched them all closed. Then we're just down to the few final details. I glue on the eyes and the eye line, and sew on the teeth. And that's the head. The last thing is the feet. I left the feet for last because I didn't want to do them. They scared me. The process is pretty much the same as everything else. Sculpt the toes out of the foam, tape, trace, shave, sew, although the bottom of the feet are a bit different. I glued shoes with fill in them into the bottom of the foam padding. I actually ran out of time to sew the claws, so I had to sew them at the con. However, before the big reveal, I just want to mention that my fursuit commissions are open right now. I'm taking 3 slots for either a mini partial or a head commission. If you're interested or want more info, my website will be linked in the description below, as well as the form you can use to order. However, with that, everything is finished. And I had a great time at Furlandia. Well, I think this guy needs a name. Well, pigeons are gray and sometimes have greenish on them. And look at those eyes. Not a thought behind them. Yeah, Pigeon the Eutyrannus.